Salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh et bienvenue chers élèves. Nous sommes là aujourd'hui, on va présenter un petit résumé ou cours ou exemplaire ou ce qu'on appelle une formulaire qui est tellement petite sur ce qu'on appelle l'anglais. So today we are going to talk about some courses that are going to be posted in baccalaureate. Then when I'm talking about baccalaureate for English, we have some type of chapter. Those chapter we need to know them all one by one. If I know those chapter all one by one, I won't get no problem with resolving those exercises when they gave it to me in baccalaureate. And the first chapter is what we call quotient tag or tag quotient, or actually a tag. That's it. So in a quotient tag, what we need is to know about the tense, to know about the sentence if it is positive or negative, to know if there is any other errors that I've done in conjugating the verb into the tense, the right tense. So what we need is quotient tag is to know two things. The first is when the first part of the sentence is positive, and after the comma we are going to get a negative tag, not a positive tag. Actually, we're going to get a negative tag. After that, we don't forget about what we call a question mark. The question mark is specially needed in this sentence. If you didn't put the question mark, that means you're going to get 0 directly. And the other stuff is what is to know that if we got a negative sentence, after the comma we are going to have a positive tag, and that positive tag should be followed by a question mark. Without the question mark, that means there is no tag quotient. There's no tag quotient. Yeah, and they will correct that. They will look at that like that you didn't correct the exercise right. So what we need as some examples about this, and I'm going to show you just 2 examples, and the others will be in our book that we made for you, and after that all you will understand well than ever. Okay, for example number 1, Anne will be here soon. After the comma we need a negative tag. Won't she? Why we used won't she? Will not. Won't she is will not, and we abbreviate it with won't she, followed by a question mark. We don't forget about the question mark. This is the first tag that we just showed you over here, and we have an example about it here. The same thing, a positive sentence and then a negative tag followed by a question mark. The other sentence will be negative at the first part, they don't like us, and after the comma we're going to get a negative tag, which is a positive tag, which is do they. After that it will follow it by a question mark. I hope you understand this part, because this part is the easiest one, and there's other part that others are real difficult. Why, when we are going to put an order or something else, those are especially in the courses that you are going to get them. But I'm going to show you here the guide, which is you are not going to be rumored in the wrong way. Some other condition: if the sentence is using a verb, so you must declare the auxiliary to do to complete it while adding the question tag. So we are going to get some what we call a positive tense or a negative tense. That negative sentence it's going to have what we call a verb, only a simple verb that is conjugated to a tense. And to go to the question tag, to the tag, we need to have an auxiliary to do in it, nothing else to do, just to do. So if, example, we got this: he plays football. The plays here is conjugated to a simple present tense, and after the comma we are going to have the verb, the auxiliary to do, conjugated to simple present. And in the simple present we are going to transfer it into a negative tag that's going to give us doesn't he. After that, we are going to follow it by a question mark. The second sentence is going to be she didn't work. We get here a negative sentence. After the comma, we are going to have a positive tag, which is going to be she didn't work. After the comma, we are going to have did she, because we have already do conjugated. Then we are going to use only do conjugated in simple past. So after all this, we do not forget about what we call a question mark. So this is question tag. It's just like this. You don't need nothing to change, nothing else to change, just to know about if you have positive sentence, we are going to have a negative tag. If you have negative sentence, we are going to have a positive tag. That's it. That's we need to know. And if you know this, the rest of it is going to be less like what we call playing games with us. So the second is what we call reported speech. I'm going to report a speech while using two things. What is those things? Direct speech and indirect speech. The direct speech is when the speaker just saying the sentence to someone. Indirect speech is when the speaker is telling the speech to someone else. Yeah. So indirect speech, we have some condition, and those conditions must be followed. If you just get this condition in your head, you won't get any problem while doing some exercises about what we call direct and indirect speech. If in indirect speech, if the sentence are from indirect speech, are from this, indirect speech it goes to this. Indirect speech, they all goes to this tense, indirect speech. Yeah. So here we have he said or he says. Sometimes we use he says, sometimes we use he said. In simple present, it's going directly in simple past. If we have a reported speech using direct speech, and this direct speech is a simple present tense, all the sentence is conjugated to simple present tense, we are going to transfer it while calling the indirect speech to what we call a simple past. If we have present continuous, we are going to transfer it to past continuous. So if we have what we call present perfect simple, we are going to transfer it to past perfect simple. Simple past goes to past perfect, past continuous go to past perfect continuous, future going to conditional like would, modal verbs, they are here, we have this going to this ons, we are talking in indirect speech. This is the necessary thing what we need to know about reported speech. And there is something else too that I might add. What is that thing? Is when we are going to transform the times, the duration to indirect speech, from direct speech to indirect speech. Now go to the then, today and tonight go to that day and that night, yesterday go to the previous day, tomorrow goes to the following day, here go to there, this go to that, these go to those. When we are calling direct speech, when we are calling indirect speech, from direct speech to indirect speech, we need to know this, how to transform now to then, and the yesterday to this, and tomorrow to this. If you don't know all these, for a chapter of what we call reported speech, we are not going to pass neither to correct the exercise in a correct way. So we have the next chapter that we call passive and active voice. This chapter is the most complicated chapter. A lot of people think that they understand it well, but it's a complicated chapter because it got many sentences, many different sentences that are not the same. So in this chapter we have what we call active voice. Is a direct voice that we are going to give directly, which contain the subject plus the verb plus the object. And here is what we call, to turn an active voice into a passive voice, we need what? We need to, first of all, get the object here, plus auxiliary or the verb to be, plus past participle of the verb, plus by, plus the subject over here. So the verb to be, we are going to conjugate it in what? That's what we call, when we need a passive voice, we need to conjugate the verb to be into the tense which is using in the active voice. In the tense in the active voice, we are going to use it to conjugate the verb to be, because the verb here that we use it, we are going to give his past participle, but his tense we are going to use it into to be. And we do not forget about the by plus the subject. So this is cases that we need to know too, because if you know these 10 cases, we don't have problems. In simple past, if we have active voice, subject plus verb plus object, we have in passive voice, object plus to be in past, past participle of the verb, plus by plus subject. In simple present, we have the same thing, only to be changed, conjugated, it must be conjugated into a present. If we have past perfect, we are going to have subject plus had plus the verb plus object. Passive voice going to be object plus had to, and been. This time the verb to be goes to been directly without changing nothing. Past participle of the verb plus by plus the subject. If we are in the present perfect, it's the same thing, but we gotta use to have. We are going to conjugate the verb to have in the present. Yeah. If you have past continuous, we have the same thing, but we are going to add ing, to be. It's going to be the active is going to be a subject plus to be plus verb plus ing plus object, and in the passive voice going to be the object first plus the verb to be in this tense, then being, you're going to put the being directly because it's used already. We don't change this. It's like this. So the rules make it like this. It doesn't change it. So we have past participle verb plus by plus subject, and the rest, the others is the same thing. We have this. We know this all. We are going to correct active and passive voice exercises without no problem, without no doubts. So grammar, in the grammar what we have what we call neither nor, either or, both and. To use these three grammatically, we are going to do what we call an example about them to show you how to use it. Neither and nor are used for negative sentences. If, just like I don't like bread, I don't like milk, I can transform it like I neither like bread nor milk. Either and or are used for positive sentences. I will visit you, I will call you. Either I will call or visit you. Both and are used for peoples. So example, Aisha is smart, Ali is smart. Both Aisha and Ali are smart. That's how we use these grammatical things. And finally, at the end, we have what we call how to answer questions in the text. To answer a question in the text, depending on your experience, if you just understand English, you won't get problems about answering those 5 questions to get your 5 points. If you have problem in English, you are going to be dubbed and you won't answer the 5 questions. That's the problem. So you need to know English to answer those 5 questions, because all these 5 questions, their answers exist in the text. You can retrieve them from the text, then put it in your paper, and then you answer the 5 questions directly. You got your 5 points. So the second thing is how to finish finish with essay. The essay call what we are calling English. You need what you're calling English, because sometimes they give you some some famous proverbs, and those proverbs you need to transform them into a 5 lines text, and those texts going to be explained deeply inside from English. Those can be understandable from the reader. You are a writer and he is a reader. The reader, if you don't understand what you are writing, he won't correct it. So I am thanking you watching my video, and for contacting us, there's our pages, number, phone, and emails, and our application will be soon as possible online on Google Play, then App Store. And I might add something else. There's an application on Google Play which be online. It's named Mori English. It's here to help you people who decided to learn English. So and it's got what we call the resources of BACS, all of it. You can use this application and you will get tag question and reported speech, passive and active voice, and grammatically, and how to do essays. Everything is in this application. This application will help you actually if you just download it and goes to the place that we call back courses or back correction. We gotta find out all correction about subject of baccalaureate, and we're going to find the courses of baccalaureate. This is their website. This is their website. This is their page on Facebook. This is how you can go to download the application in Google Play. Just type Mori English in Google Play and you will receive it, and then download it or on Google. Thank you, well done, and to the next time we will continue our course inshallah about French or something else. Bon, so there's books and everything else that are available for you. It's going to help you to treat all exercises on physics, maths, and science. So thank you very well. So see you next time inshallah.